Good evening, it's Tuesday the 14th of February and it's time for the news on RIK2. The ongoing Cyprus settlement process seems to be treading a fine line after the passing of a parliamentary amendment calling for a school reference to the union with Greece referendum in 1950, which continues to cause strong reaction by the Turkish Cypriot side. Mustafa Kenji called off today's scheduled meeting of top negotiators Andreas Mavroyiannis and Ozdil Nami, who are set to prepare the ground for Thursday's Anastasiadis Akinci next round of negotiations. The Turkish Cypriot leader called the decision a serious blow to the dialogue, adding that the only issue he will be taking up with President Anastasiadis on Thursday will be the majority parliamentary decision for the union with Greece referendum celebration. In the midst of the tension that climaxed yesterday with strong Akinci remarks to which the president had a lengthy response focusing on the Turkish celebration of the 1974 invasion, the UN chief's advisor returns to the island tomorrow. He will be holding separate talks with President Anastasiadis and Mustafa Akinci. The government in Nicosia, meanwhile, continued to give as good as it got on the approval of the union with Greece referendum amendment. Spokesman Nikos Christodoulidis said it was a mistake by the Turkish Cypriot leader to cancel today's negotiators' meeting, noting that actions which do not affect Cyprus settlement discussions must not be blown out of proportion. In remarks on our radio current affairs programme, Christodoulidis stressed that if he so desired, Akinci should have contacted President Anastasiadis directly and not proceed with remarks that misinterpreted the parliamentary decision on the union with Greece referendum. As the spokesman said, the Turkish Cypriot leader chose to express his position publicly. In the same manner, Nikos Christodoulidis added, President Anastasiadis could have refused to attend talks until the Turkish demand on the granting of the 4 EU freedoms to Turkish citizens in Cyprus following a settlement was withdrawn. Christodoulidis refuted the Turkish Cypriot claim that the unionist referendum decision was an attempt to rekindle the Enosis union policy, categorically noting that yesterday's unanimous National Council statement yet again made clear that the desired form of settlement remains unchanged. President of the Supreme Court of Russia, Vyacheslav Lebedev, today conveyed a personal message by Vladimir Putin to President Anastasiadis during a meeting this morning. Lebedev is on an official visit to Cyprus accompanied by members of the Russian Supreme Court. According to CNA sources, in his message to Anastasiadis, President Putin said he was really happy to note the high level of relations between Cyprus and Russia, which are based, as he stressed, on the long-standing friendship as well as cultural and spiritual ties between the two countries. The U.S. National Security Advisor Michael Flynn resigned late yesterday amid a flow of intelligence leaks that he had secretly discussed sanctions with the Russian ambassador to Washington and then tried to cover up the conversations. The resignation, with the Trump era less than 4 weeks old, is the latest and most dramatic convulsion in the most chaotic start to an administration in modern U.S. history. It was far from clear whether Flynn's departure would steady an inexperienced and feuding White House or resolve the lingering suspicions about the Trump team's pre-election contacts with the Kremlin. The White House issued a statement just after 11 last night in Washington announcing the resignation, shortly after reports broke that the Trump administration had been warned weeks ago that Flynn might be vulnerable to Russian blackmail. The statement also named retired Army General Joseph Kellogg as acting National Security Advisor. In his resignation letter, Flynn claimed he had mistakenly misled Vice President Mike Pence and other Trump officials about the nature of phone calls in December to the Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak. When intelligence leaks about the communications began appearing last month, Pence and other White House officials insisted that the contact had only involved an exchange of Christmas greetings and arrangements for a future Trump-Putin phone conversation. Russian politicians offered a fierce defense of Flynn, Konstantin Kosachev, chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee at the upper chamber of Parliament, said that firing a national security advisor for his contacts with Russia is not just paranoia, but something even worse. And now a look at the weather. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. Winds will be light to moderate northeasterly, force 3 to 4, and later turning westerly, force 5 over slight seas. Temperatures will reach 12 Celsius inland and in the western and northern coastal regions, 14 in the other coastal areas, and 2 over the mountains. The depth of snow is 45 centimetres on Mount Olympus and 35 on the Troodos Square. That's all from us here. Join us tomorrow for more news in English. Have a very good evening.